Hey everyone, my name is Sean Arnold and I wanted to share with you a few things that I've learned about substitutions in this game. I've got a random team going here. This is a universal trait. All characters are the same with this, at least what I've found out so far. But first of all, how long does it take for your substitutions to cool down or recharge? 14 seconds. It takes about 14 seconds for your substitutions in this game to start to refill. And just to emphasize that, or to develop a bit of accuracy, I'm going to show that again. And now I'm going to freeze at this point here. It's about at this point here where size substitution bar starts to refill, and there you go. But what happens when you use more than one? That's the second one. We've gone well past 14 seconds now. Okay, so in case you guys didn't catch that, it was about 20 seconds or so before the bar started to refill. But the last time I used it was about 6 seconds in. What this basically means is that every time you use your substitution, your timer starts to, it resets itself. This time I'm going to do it with 3. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to freeze at this point here. The second time I used the substitution was at about 3 seconds in, 3 seconds and 10 seconds. And then it was 6 seconds the last time I used it. And then it started to recharge about 20 seconds in afterwards, give or take. So again, just to re-emphasize, it takes about 14 seconds for your substitution to recharge. It counts this from the last time you use the substitution. Maybe this means that it could be better to use multiple substitutions at a time and not necessarily wait for them to recharge individually, because you'll be waiting longer for that to happen. In terms of practical applications, it's going to be really hard to say. That's going to be down to you guys to work that out. But here I go again with 4 substitutions now, and the timer stopped there. It took 24 seconds for all 4 of them to recharge. However, the last time I used it was 10 seconds in, and they're all empty there. So 10 seconds plus 14 is about 24 seconds in, and there we go. Now let me talk about how this works with leader switch and doing team battles in this game. I'm going to let Sai use one of his substitutions now, and I'm going to just keep my distance for as long as possible, but then I'm going to tag him out before we hit 14 seconds. Okay, so just about 14 seconds there, but as his cooldown started to begin, I've tagged that to a different character. And as you can see, with this character, the timer's still going up. Despite that Sai pretty much used all of that 14 seconds, this character's timer still is not refilling the bar. So what this basically means is that every single character also has their own substitution timer. It took 14 seconds for Sai to start to refill before I tagged out, and then another 14 seconds before it starts to refill with Yutakaka or whatever his name is. However, there are really good benefits of this too. I'm going to empty Yutakaka's bar now, and then I'm going to tag it to Sai and see what happens next. Did you see that? It happened really quickly. What happened there basically was I tagged out. From the moment I tagged out into Sai, it took about just over under a second for the bar to start to refill. What this basically means is that your characters have a bank for their timer, or they save their timer. So your first character, if their substitution timer has been refilled or started to refill, and then you tag them out, it saves that timer. And then when you tag them back in, it continues the timer from the point where it left off. What it means that you can do things like, you can wait for one character to have their timer refilled, tag them out, use your substitutions on a different character, and then you can kind of refill your bar almost instantly with the character that saved their timer. Now I want to show you what happens when you use it between multiple rounds in a fight, because most rounds are 2 out of 3, and it might be that all characters reset their timer between rounds also. Let's find out. I'm just going to let Naruto get beaten up here, which is why the screen's gone into fast forward. And now I've used his first substitution. I'm just going to keep my distance before I tag him out. I'm going to tag out at this point about 8 seconds or so, and I've tagged that to Eno, and now I'm just going to let her get beaten up until we moves around. It takes a little bit of time because the AI is not incredibly smart in this game. Okay, so I've got one character, Naruto, who has saved some of his substitution timer, and I've got one character who hasn't been in at all, which is Shino, and it's going to make his timer completely empty. So he is now being tagged in, and the substitutes are still not going to fill, and they're not going to fill up for the next 14 seconds or so. And now they started to recharge. So because Shino has not been in the battle at all, and he has not banked any of his substitution timer, the substitutions still had to wait a long time to refill. Now I'm going to let Shino empty his bar, and despite the fact that Naruto got tagged out in the first round, even though we're in round 2, you're going to see that they're going to start to fill about 5 seconds or so, because he already used about 8 seconds or so on his timer, and then they are starting to refill. So guys, I wanted to share this with you about kind of how this has worked here. Again, just to reiterate, Shino, because he hadn't been in the battle, took the full amount of time to recharge the bar, but Naruto, because he had already been in the fight for a little while, his substitution timer was saved. Hopefully this has been helpful to you guys. I'm not going to give any advice on how to use this in terms of strategy or in terms of battling. If you guys figure anything out though, do let me know. And if you've enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends and let people know about this technique. I'm going to try and work out how I can best use that fact. Thank you guys for watching, and take care.